early on Twitch to give you what I saw last night. And we're going to go through the Survivor Series review and how WWE keeps disappointing me when it comes to certain matches. Now, don't get me wrong, the Survivor Series was pretty much decent. It was not bad. They had some good matches. The one match that really turned me off was the Lana situation with the women's match. We're gonna go through that. So pretty much, it was that. It was the dual brand battle royal, and things that had me asking why was this on this battle royal to legitimize the Miz as the Money in the Bank holder. Well, we're gonna go through all that right now. So again, the kickoff show, I hate the kickoff show because it's just a bunch of people sitting down and just being company people. You're gonna sit there and act like you know exactly what's gonna happen, but you want to make yourself an analyst and make it look like, oh, oh, they gotta get serious. Like Booker T was like, this is the kickoff show is more for these guys to brag of what they did in the past. And I usually don't watch the kickoff show because the kickoff show is just to me is whatever. I usually start it at like a half an hour before the actual event started. But last night I decided, you know what? It's a long day. Let me sit down and let me enjoy this Survivor Series because number one, it was the Undertaker's last hurrah as a competitor for WWE. I don't think he's gonna come back. There's no way. The way they did this last night with the pipe recording and people saying thank Undertaker when it was all recorded, that was not coming out of the screens. I'll tell you that much. It was definitely not coming out of the screen of that. So all this pipe stuff, whatever, it was not. I'm sure they're gonna have to give him a proper send off. So with that being said, let's go into the beginning of the show, and that was the dual brand battle royal. And I'm just gonna pretty much tell you who in the order of people who got eliminated: John Morrison, Kalisto, Rey Mysterio, Humberto Carrillo. I didn't even know he was in there. Hector Garza, Cedric Alexander, Ricochet, Sheldon Benjamin, Murphy, Bobby Roode, Dolph Ziggler, Apollo, Nakamura, Elias, Jeff Hardy, Chad Gable, and Dominic Mysterio, and The Miz. Now, when I saw The Miz being part of this, I started saying to myself, tell me that he is not going to be the one who's going to win this whole battle royal. And sure enough, instead of them, using guys like Dominic Mysterio, who they've been pushing as a star, and put a rocket on his back. They already put a rocket on his back, right? No, instead they push one of the guys who is irrelevant. Okay, mind you that a couple of weeks ago I said that Miz was a very good Intercontinental Champion. He put meaning to that title when he held it. But after that, he's been nothing but a clown. And he definitely, I call him a clown because he uses his shows, okay, the Miz and Mrs., to push his career. So he does politics in the back to be up front, and especially now that he's in the title picture. Here's my problem with this, because the Miz won the Money in the Bank at Hell in a Cell by taking the briefcase away from Otis after Tucker turned on him. The following 3 weeks after that were the worst thing that a Money in the Bank briefcase holder has ever had to go through, besides Mr. Kennedy back in 2009 or 2010 when he won it and then he lost it to Edge right away. The fact that he won Money in the Bank and then that Monday night, the following night, he wrestled Drew McIntyre and lost. The following week, he wrestled a 2-on-1 handicap match with him and Morrison against Drew McIntyre, and he beat both of them. Not just Miz, both of them at the same time. Then last week, The Miz goes into the ring to face off The Fiend. The Fiend beats him. So now you got this guy walking around with Money in the Bank briefcase. The Money in the Bank holder, the guy who holds a certificate, a contract for a world title shot. And you have him beat 3 weeks in a row, and then you go and put him in a dual brand battle royal, and he wins it all. When you had guys like Chad Gable, who you could have put, you had Hector Garza, you had Ricochet, you had a bunch of other people that I feel that you could have pushed, but you didn't. So the Miz wins this match, and if you want me to expect that the Miz is a legit Money in the Bank briefcase holder, I'm not believing it. I'm sorry, I am not going to believe that at all. So that was um, the first match of the night. The next match to start off the show, they started off with the Raw versus SmackDown 505 men's match. Uh, the one thing that I did not like about this was, and I'm gonna tell you why, because at the same time, um, um, it made SmackDown look like crap, you know, and Raw has been one of the worst shows this year between them two, SmackDown and Raw. SmackDown has gotten a little better because of what Roman Reigns brings to the table. And it is crazy that I'm actually saying that Roman Reigns, what he brings to the table. And you figure, you know, SmackDown, that's has been suffering for since last year, whatever. Raw has been terrible. Raw has been crap. And the funny thing is, the guy who runs it, Bruce Pritchard, has been doing a better job in SmackDown than he's been doing Raw. So this match, the first thing that went wrong here, that I was like, okay, you could have done a better job with this, and that goes shows you the lazy creativity that WWE does. The fact that Seth Rollins tagged himself in and asked uh, Sheamus to bro kick him and whatnot, for him to lose the match was stupid. Just to write him off TV, because now he's gonna go home and be with his wife Becky Lynch, who's about to give birth next month. But this is the way you put him out. And then again, I'm sure Seth agreed to this stupid move. I'm telling you right now. I'm sure he did. I'm promising you that. So, right there, that was my problem number one I had with that. Second part that I had a problem with was, first of all, all the guys that SmackDown had, the majority of them got pinned. Kevin Owens got pinned by AJ Styles. I think I'm correct. Let me look at my notes here. Braun Strowman beats. Let me see. Okay, Kevin Owens was pinned by AJ. Now, let mind you, all 5 members of the Raw got a pin. So, Sheamus pinned Rollins. AJ pinned Owens. Matt Riddle got his revenge from last year by pinning Baron Corbin. Strowman pinned Otis, and then Keith Lee pins Jey Uso. And the sad thing was that Jey Uso was the only one left in the SmackDown team to fight 1-on-5. And even though he did a great comeback, whatever, he still didn't win because Keith Lee caught him and power bombed him, sit down power bomb. But what was the message sent in this match? Raw is still number one, regardless of how awful the show is. We're number one. When in reality, SmackDown is a better brand right now, and I got better storyline just with the fact with Roman Reigns. And it's funny because a year ago, I wouldn't even be saying that I would have been like trashing SmackDown because of Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns, his whole demeanor, his whole change that he has done wonders for his character, you know. And then with Paul Heyman involved with that, so I'm sure Paul Heyman is probably the one who was the mastermind behind all the whole gimmick he's doing. So, but the fact that Raw had a clean sweep, no one for Raw got pinned. No one. So that tells you right there what Vince McMahon pretty much is telling, and Bruce Pritchard is telling everybody: you don't like Raw, too bad. We're still number one because we say so. We just made everybody's SmackDown get pinned, a clean sweep. So the match was decent, but just the outcome wasn't. So the next match, I think, pretty much was one of the best matches of the night. Was New Day versus Street Profit, and my opinion of this was more. I mean, New Day showed that they would more have more better psychology and control of the match because they control most of the match. Street Profits show a little bit of green by using almost the same moves twice, but uh, Dawkins and Porter, those guys are gray on the mic. They are gray on the mic. I like the mic skills. I like that frog splash that Porter does. Um, but this was more of passing of the torch. That's what it was. The passing of the torch between New Day and Street Profit. This was a great match, back and forth, close pins. I mean, they. It's crazy that I'm sure whoever was behind this match, pretty much probably let them flow with it, and they flowed. The match was great. They was back and forth. Um, I think New Day could have beat them because they, if it wasn't because it was Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston. If it would have been Kofi Kingston and Big E, I think they finishing move they would have pinned Street Profit. But Street Profits ends up winning the match. They pretty much did very well, and I think this move pretty much solidifies that the torch has been passed. So in case New Day breaks up, and they will be the ones that will be carrying on in that tag team scene. But again, tag team scene in WWE is horrible. Um, Street Profits win. Who are they going to challenge? It looks like Nakamura and Cesaro are not a tag team anymore. Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler. Ziggler was wrestling in this dual battle royal with a hat on. I don't understand that. And they just kill Bobby Roode. He ain't glorious anymore. It's just sad to see that happening. The next match was the Bobby Lashley versus Sami Zayn. I knew Bobby Lashley was going to win because he's the bigger, stronger wrestler, but Sami Zayn will always try to find ways and to either find a loophole to win the match. This time he was done because Bobby Lashley came out with the Hurt Business advantage. Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley pretty much dominated most of the match. Sami Zayn did a couple of, a lot, some offense, but at the end of the day, he got caught with the Hurt Lock. My thing with this match was they making Sami Zayn look like a clown, and I say that because they made Sami Zayn look like a clown when he first came up from NXT. He had some great matches with Kevin Owens, but that leads to the independent feud back in Ring of Honor and God knows how many years as a Generico. But they have pretty much destroyed Sami Zayn. They took the belt away from him. Then they put him in a three-way against Elias. Was it Elias? Elias. Yeah, by the fact, it was Elias and Jeff Hardy. He wins the belt back. And now they're making him look like a clown with the Intercontinental title. This is what I said. The Intercontinental title has not been respected, and this is one of the oldest titles that WWE has had under the company for many years. Again, the Intercontinental Champion was known to be the number one contender back in the days when a Hulk Hogan would have it, and then you have like a Mr. Perfect had the belt, and pretty much uh, he's the number one contender. And now the Intercontinental Champion, they changed it, and now they making it look like it's it's a joke, you know. Um, so again, Sami Zayn loses, and then on top of it all, complain about it, and then make him look like a weak champion. That's what they do, making them a weak champion. So Bobby Lashley wins that match. The Asuka versus Sasha, it was pretty good. You can see Sasha was having a problem with Asuka during the match. Asuka was a bigger, the stronger one. But at the end of the day, after a feud, pin attempts, whatever, Sasha was able to pin Asuka. This match was pretty decent, even though the outcome was different from what happened this summer. This summer, remember, Sasha beat Asuka by countout because it was in a stipulation when Zaire Kane, or whatever her name, Asuka's partner, whatever, was attacked by Bailey, and Asuka went to help her, and she got counted out. So that, but this match was fair, decent, not better than the New Day and Street Profits, but was there as probably the top two matches of the night. So again, it was during this time that you say to yourself, well, WWE's having a decent pay-per-view. And the funny thing is that WWE has had decent pay-per-views. The last three pay-per-view has been pretty good. It has not been bad. But the problem that they do, that I always say, that they make things worse, is that once you have a great match, instead of them putting the next match, they'll add comedy into a skit that's not even shouldn't even be part of the show. Now, mind you, that in the kickoff show, I totally forgot about this. The R-Truth got pinned by no other the Gobbledygooker. Now, most of you probably don't remember who the hell the Gobbledygooker was. The Gobbledygooker was a big giant egg WWE was promoted for months in 1990 for the Survivor Series. Everybody thought, like, oh, who the hell is going to come on? It's probably going to be a wrestler. I remember that clearly. I was like, the wrestler's going to come on. And it was a total disappointment. It was a damn turkey. Somebody dressed in a turkey suit and whatnot. And it was a disappointment. So Gobbledygooker was born on the same night that The Undertaker came out. And I still remember that. So Gobbledygooker came on the kickoff show. And he ends up pinning R-Truth for the stupid 24/7 title. The dumbest title I even know. It's just dumb shit that WWE does. So he got pinned. So after the Sasha Banks and Asuka match, they go to the back, and now you had Tozawa trying to get the 24/7. The Gobbledygooker is following seeds. He gets pinned. Then R-Truth grabs a bag of seeds and blasts Tozawa over his head. He gets the belt back. Why is this in the show? Why? Again, WWE doing stupid shit. Why? And enough with this freaking comedy in wrestling. Enough of this shit. I can't get over this. And I've been saying it for weeks, ever since with the Jericho and MJF, Debonair, and the stupid Inner Circle, Slaves Vegas, the Otis, Law and Otis. Needs to stop with this shit. It kills the pay-per-view. It was just stupid. I don't even know why they put that there. Then, this was the match that really, really pissed me off on the end of the night. So, it was the women's 5-on-5 match between the Raw and the SmackDown. And they did pretty much almost as close to it. They almost pretty much did the same thing close to it the way they did with the men's. The only difference was that the way I see it in this match, okay, I'm gonna tell. So in this match, pretty much the story was about Lana. And I remember tweeting during this match and saying, if Lana wins, I'm gonna flip. So Peyton Royce ends up pinning Bailey, which it was a shocker. That shocked me. Peyton Royce from the Iconics pinning Bailey. That's it was tremendous. I can't believe it. It was shocking. Then we had Natalya pin Peyton Royce. Then Lacey Evans pins Natalya. And Lacey Evans, when I see her wrestling, that woman is horrible. She has nothing for me to be like, wow, she's incredible. Peyton Royce impressed me more than what Lacey Evans does. Lacey Evans is just the woman's right. That's garbage. That move is garbage. So she pins Natalia. Baszler ends up pinning Ruby Riott again. Ruby Riott, who could have been pushed. The girl has a MMA background. They just putting this girl in the back burner. She gets no break at all. Then after that, Liv Morgan, she pins Lacey Evans. Then Nia Jax um, pins Liv Morgan. Shayna Baszler gets disqualified after putting Bianca Belair in a chokehold, and Bianca Belair made it to the ropes, but the referee, she knows she made it to the ropes, she still hangs on to the chokehold and gets disqualified. Now, this is the part that got me pissed off. Bianca Belair performance in this Survivor Series was incredible. Her athletic ability was being displayed. This was a chance at WWE to put a rocket behind Bianca Belair and made her a star. Meanwhile, of during this whole time, Lana is standing by the steps because her team, especially Nia Jax, told her, "You stand by the stairs, do not come in the ring," because she was told not to tag in. She tagged in during the match to go one-on-one with Bayley, then against Natalia, and then she got tagged in by I believe was Payne Royce, and then she was supposed to stand by the steps, not by the ring, but by the steps. And during this last part, as I said, it was Nia Jax and Bianca Belair. They're fighting outside, and they both get disqualified. Now, again, you have Bianca Belair doing one of the best performances I ever seen her do at Survivor Series. You got Nia Jax, who does not. It's another. I'm sorry, she does not sell anything. This woman does not sell anything. She is a freaking horrible wrestler. She did not sell anything. Okay, she got thrown to the staircase. Okay, she got thrown to the stairs, the steel stairs. Thrown. Most of the wrestlers will sell that and stay there for a while. She got right back up and went after Bianca Belair. No sell. No freaking sell. Okay? They both get counted out. And Lana is the sole survivor. Are you serious? This is what we do in WWE? You gave us a documentary about her of this past weekend, about how she suffers from depression and all. You are really, really trying to shove Lana down our throat as a babyface. I'm not getting behind her. I don't care what anybody tells me. And a lot of people online like, oh, the white people hate Lana so much, and because Lana did not support her husband when her husband was not happy that she went and still signed 5 years with WWE. So that tells you you're supposed to stand by your man, and you didn't. But now this is your cheap way to get pop. Get the hell out of here. Listen, this is nonsense. Listen. The Twitter feeds went crazy when they saw this. It was disgusting what they did. You have Bianca Belair. You could have blew her to the moon. You put a rock in her back and made her a star. But y'all didn't even do that. Y'all went and instead of putting the rocket booster on Bianca, you put in Lana. That rocket is dead right now because it's not going higher than that. Let me tell you. It is horrible. It was horrible to be seen. It's crazy. It's crazy. I can't believe it. I was like stunned. Stunned that this even happened. The next match was let's see. The next match was the Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre. This was a pretty good match. I feel this was a no-win situation for any of these guys because if McIntyre gets pinned, it's not good for Raw. If Roman Reigns gets pinned, SmackDown it's not good for SmackDown. But I believe what they did was since they did the clean sweep on the SmackDown team, they figured, well, we'll have Roman Reigns beat Drew McIntyre, and let's see what happens. And that's what happened. It was a great match. Don't get me wrong. It was a great match. This is one of the best matches they ever had one on one. And even when they were feuding back in Raw, when Drew was more of the heel, and Roman wasn't. And it's funny because they did a good story because supposedly I think the Royal Rumble, Roman Reigns was the last guy getting eliminated by Drew McIntyre. That's how he went and faced uh, Brock Lesnar and all that nonsense and whatnot. But it was a good match. I just didn't understand last night. To my understanding, this is what I figured. I told somebody on Twitter, I'm like, doesn't make no sense that Drew McIntyre won the belt on Monday, a week ago, to then lose to the Universal Champion on Survivor Series. So what you're telling me is that the WWE World Title, who's been around for more than 50 or 60 years, probably 57 years, let's put it 57 years, the most prestigious title in the wrestling industry, is less than the Universal title that's been around probably 4 years. So you're telling me the Universal Championship is more important than the world title. This is what we're doing now because it's Roman Reigns who holds that belt, right? That was what I said last night. But now I'm looking at it now. This is probably was figure. Well, we did a clean sweep with the Raw team over SmackDown, so no, but we're still gonna put Roman Reigns to win, beat Drew McIntyre. So that means that WWE Champion Raw is weak. It's a weak champion because the head of the table, the tribal chief, is the man in WWE. I mean, it's the truth. He's the face of the company right now, just like John Cena was years ago. Roman Reigns is now the face of the company. It's not Drew McIntyre. It's not the Fiend. It's Roman Reigns. And right last night they proved it. You know the way they were supposed to prove it. So this is something that I feel that they should have made the clean sweep with the teams, or made SmackDown beat the Raw team, and then had Drew McIntyre beat um, oh my God, Roman Reigns. But they didn't do it that way. So overall, the pay per view was not bad. I mean, they did the Undertaker. I mean, all the guys that came out. You had the Rikishi. You had the Godfather, Kevin Nash, JBL, Shane McMahon, Mick Foley, The Big Show. All these guys came out. Rikishi. All these guys came out to honor Undertaker, including Ric Flair, Shawn Michaels, Triple H. I mean, the list go on. Afterwards, Vince McMahon came out, and after they did a video package, and you could tell McMahon was very emotional because him and Undertaker go way back. Since the first day, they've been close. Undertaker does whatever he wants. McMahon don't really care. Gives him the praise. This is why Mr. Dead Man make almost probably $1 million something this weekend after a 24-hour, what was it, $1,000 just to do a cameo with the Undertaker. What about the rest of the other guys? They had third party. Why they can't do it? Why Undertaker could, but the rest of them can't? Favoritism. That's what it is. So, but anyway, the Undertaker's going away, his farewell was not something I really wanted. It was sad. It was just like, wow, this is what has happened. We came in with fans. He's leaving without them. But I don't think he's gone. He's gonna show up somewhere or the other. But Undertaker always, to me, has been one of my favorites. I remember very, very invested when he wrestled Yokozuna in was it the casket match? I think it was the casket match, and everybody jumped in. I think the whole locker room went after Undertaker. Undertaker took out everybody. But it goes to show you what this man has done. His matches with Shawn Michaels, WrestleMania 25 and 26, that could be, or 24, 25. They were classics. His matches with Triple H, Austin, Mick Foley match, which I think to me has been the number one with him and Foley, a Hell in a Cell, 1988. Him and Lesnar, Brock Lesnar, legendary. This man did everything, and for 30 years. I mean, I was 20 when he first showed up at Survivor Series. So you imagine, you make your math how old I am. So to see this guy leave the way he left last night with no fans, just video monitors around him. I was expecting the Fiend to pop out, whatever, but I guess this is it. Undertaker's gone. That's it. He's done, supposedly. And I say supposedly because I'm sure McMahon's gonna find a way to bring him back. But it looked like probably he's not coming back because McMahon was very emotional last night. I never saw him like that. And the only time I saw him like that is when I did the Undertaker last ride stuff, and when he got emotional and told the cameraman to stop. So, but anyway, guys, thanks again to joining me this morning at this Twitch. I needed to do the Survivor Series review. I'm not doing a Hell in a Cell. Hell in a Cell. Monday Night Raw review because tomorrow, because I already did this, so I'm not doing that. I'm not doing a Monday Night review. Usually, Monday night the fallouts usually garbage because now they're gonna work on the TLC event next month, and I don't know what they're gonna do with that. But again, this stream is from Twitch. Again, guys, it's from Twitch. I'm doing it through Twitch. You can also see it through YouTube, and you can find me in other places. So let me start right here with saying, if you guys are seeing me on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, hit the links on top and whatnot, and you can see the screen right here. You see this? All this? Right here. There you go. All this. You can find me everywhere. Same name on top. Same name. Chokeslam Wrestling Report. You can find me there. You can find me on YouTube. You can find me on Facebook. Everywhere. The audio podcast. You can find me Apple, Spotify. Where else? iHeartRadio. Stitcher. Popping. Anyway, any audio podcast you can find me. I got the audio podcast. It's not gonna be the same. The audio podcast is different because I do it every twice a week with different stuff. On Sundays I do the wrestling news and rumors, talk about what's happening in the business, who's coming in, who's not coming out, and then on Thursday I do the AEW Dynamite review and some wrestling news and rumors. So you check me out there. You can also check me out on unhingedSN.com. UnhingedSN.com. You can find all my audio podcasts there, my archives. Also, if you hit unhingedsn.airtime.pro, you can hear my shows from the audio podcast Mondays and Friday at 12 to 1. Then there's also encores. But you can find me on Twitter on ultimate_1 with the number 1. So there you can find out all the infos and the encores of the shows and whatnot. So I'm everywhere, guys. Again, thank you for everybody's support. Thank you for everybody who supported me on Twitter. Everywhere you can find me. So until then, guys, be safe. Most likely, I will be somewhere this weekend around doing another podcast. And I'll be on any news, any crazy news. I will be on here on Twitch to give you my feedback and my opinions on it. So until then, guys, thank you for supporting the Chokeslam Wrestling Report, and be safe, wear that mask, and stay safe.